Hi guys, it's Mark from markchartmovement.com, and in this episode, another reader's question, which was, let me see. I have been working out regularly, trying to get more fit and put on some muscle mass. My trainer has put me on a split program. He says this way I can work out every day. Without having any risks of overuse, injuries. Is this the right way to train? So that's a good question. First of all, it depends on what you define as the right way. So I agree with his reasoning. If you want to be able to work out every day, or let's say more than 5 days, you have to do some kind of a split. By a split, we mean that we divide the body in different muscle groups. So one of the most traditional way of putting a split in is making a distinction between the pushing muscles and the pulling muscles. So let's say a very easy, a push up, overhead press, dips, pressing with the legs, those kind of things would be a good choice for a pushing day. Then during a pull day, you could do something like pull-ups, leg pull, bicep curls, anything that involves bringing a weight towards the body rather than pushing it away. The benefit of an approach like this is that if I train my muscles that are involved in pushing motions today, they can rest tomorrow as I'm doing pulling motions. Now, if you're doing multiple days a week, so let's say you're doing 5 or 7, you may even need to divide into different muscle groups. So you'll do shoulders and triceps on one day, chest and back on another day. These are very random examples, but you divide it into different groups so that you can cycle through the approaches. So I agree with that, but when we define the right way, as far as I can see it, or the way I see it is as follows. There's 5 basic human functions or basic motor skills that deserve attention. One of which is strength, which is probably well covered if you're trying to put on some mass. But there's also endurance, muscular endurance. Depending on your rep range, the type of exercise that you're doing, you might get that benefit out of it, or you might not get that benefit. Endurance also covers vascular or cardiovascular capacity, so your ability to run, to jog, to do any type of cardio, whether that's an elliptical or rowing. So basically the heart and the lungs and how well they can perform. If you only do resistance training, you won't get the benefits of cardio training. And this, of course, is only purely assuming, excuse me, only assuming that that's not being programmed in. Strength, endurance, then we have balance, coordination, so the ability of your central nervous system to communicate well with all the muscles and joints that you're moving. So let's say you're only doing a machine-based work, which is only all in a sort of an A to B, 1 to 2 sort of movement, you won't get challenged in terms of how to coordinate a certain movement. So that's an important part of training as well. Then we have mobility, or also agility, range of motion, flexibility. So these are all different terms to use for your ability to actually move your entire joints through their range of motion. So if you don't have good range of motion, certain exercises might make you more prone to injury, to give you a simple example. And if you're only doing resistance training, again, I can't say what kind of program you're doing, but there's a risk that you only feed into any restrictions that you might already be having. So take a look and see if you might need to add some mobility exercises. So we've had strength, we've had endurance or cardiovascular endurance capacity, we've had coordination, stability, balance, those kind of things. Then we've had flexibility. I've mentioned agility, but actually it's a little bit different. So agility can also be put under the speed, agility, quickness sort of tab. And that means The ability to cut corners, to react, to jump, to explode. Usually these are sort of skills that are used for athletes. Now, whether or not that's important for you as a person really depends on your goals and needs. But if we take a look at the 5 grand motor skills, those are included and important as well. So if you're only doing machine-based work, sort of a bodybuilding style approach, you end up maxing out one of those 5 stats, so to speak. So your strength and mass will probably be going up and up and up, but the other skills, the control, the flexibility, the endurance, and the quickness, and so on, could be underdeveloped, or they could either even suffer from putting too much emphasis on one of the skills. So take a look at those things if you want to be complete. The way I define a good program, those elements are in a program if you want to be a complete human being and you want to have all those skills and you want to take care of all those different abilities. So my advice would be talk to your trainer about this and see if your program has these parts built in, and if they don't, it might be interesting for you to add those in, unless you're interested in maxing those stats out. Like if you want to compete, you want to get on stage and you want to be a bodybuilder, and maybe it's not the right thing to be focusing on mobility work as much. There could be value in those things for just an injury prevention point of view, but if you're just looking to get strong and big, you just need to work with heavy weights. So as usual, the answer is it depends, but it would be worth a look to just take a look at these things and see where you can improve. I hope that's helpful. If it's not, or you have any questions, leave them below. If you think this is helpful for somebody else, feel free to share this video, leave a little like below, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye.